landing on that one.
Yeah, that was nasty.
That moment, quiet and largely unnoticed by casual fans, may end up defining Charlie Woods far more than any trophy ever could. The anticipation surrounding the 76th U.S. Junior Amateur Championship at Trinity Forest Golf Club in Dallas was unlike anything junior golf had seen in years. This wasn't just another stop on the elite junior calendar. This was being framed as Charlie Woods' arrival, the son of Tiger Woods, stepping onto a championship stage designed to test not just talent, but nerve, patience, and maturity. The galleries were thick, phones were raised before he even teed off, and walking just a few steps behind him inside the ropes was Tiger Woods himself, silent, watchful, impossible to ignore. Charlie wasn't treated like a typical 16-year-old competitor. He was treated like a storyline. Every swing was magnified, every miss analyzed, every reaction scrutinized, and from the very beginning of round one, something felt off. The confidence that had fueled his strong qualifying performances earlier in the summer seemed muted. Drives drifted offline. Tempo looked rushed. The course, unforgiving by design, immediately exposed every small mistake. By the time Charlie reached the fifth hole, what started as a shaky opening had turned into something heavier. Missed fairways piled up. Approach shots came from compromised lies. Instead of attacking pins, he was scrambling just to stay afloat. And Trinity Forest does not reward survival golf. It demands commitment, precision, and emotional control. Charlie had none of that working in his favor that day. When he finally walked off the 18th green, the scoreboard told a harsh story. An 81-11 over par, near the very bottom of the field, around 242nd out of 264 players. For a tournament that many believe could be his breakout, it was a stunning collapse. The statistics only reinforced how rough the day was. Charlie hit just 3 fairways. On a championship setup, that's devastating. Nearly every hole began with trouble. Thick, rough, blocked angles or recovery shots just to get back in position. His iron play suffered because of it, with shots sailing long, coming up short, or missing badly offline. Birdie chances were almost non-existent, and when he did reach the green, the struggles didn't stop. Charlie averaged 35 putts, a number that instantly kills momentum. Short putts slid past the hole. Lag putts finished uncomfortably far away. 4 double bogeys went on the card, and each one felt heavier than the last. His body language changed. The confident walk fans had seen in earlier events faded into a slow, deliberate trudge. But the most striking part of the round wasn't the score or the stats. It was the silence behind him. Tiger Woods didn't step in. He didn't offer visible advice. He didn't crouch beside greens or whisper encouragement like he had in previous junior events. He walked quietly, arms folded, expression unchanged. Reporters from multiple golf outlets noted the tension. There were no fist bumps, no pep talks, just a father watching his son struggle through one of the hardest rounds of his young life. Several times, Charlie glanced back toward Tiger, not in panic, but in uncertainty, as if searching for reassurance. Tiger gave none, and that silence was louder than anything he could have said. This wasn't Tiger the coach, this was Tiger the witness, allowing his son to experience the full weight of competition without a safety net. Buried inside that painful round, though, were moments that mattered more than they appeared. On the back 9, Charlie made 2 birdies, including a confident putt on the par 3 13th. For a brief stretch, the swing looked freer. The tempo steadied. The crowd leaned back in. It didn't lead to a comeback, but it proved Sommier something important. He hadn't lost his game entirely. The final result stayed an 81. The damage was done. Analysts quickly dissected the performance. Some questioned whether Charlie was ready for this level. Others pointed to the immense psychological burden of carrying the Woods name. What became clear was that this wasn't just a technical breakdown, it was emotional, mental. The collision between expectation and reality had arrived all at once. For many teenagers, a round like that would linger. It would bleed into the next day. Confidence would evaporate. The temptation to mentally check out would be overwhelming. Charlie Woods didn't do that. When he returned for round 2, he looked different. Not flawless, not dominant, but composed. He found more fairways. His approach shots had better shape and intent. The reckless mistakes disappeared. Most importantly, the emotional spiral was gone. He played golf instead of fighting it. Charlie shot a 74, 3 over par, no double bogeys, no collapse, just steady, controlled golf. In isolation, it wasn't spectacular, but in context, it was extraordinary. After one of the most public struggles of his young career, under the brightest spotlight he'd ever faced, he responded with maturity. It wasn't enough to save his tournament. The cut line for match play sat at +2. Charlie finished at +14, missing it by 12 shots. The week was over. NBC Sports labeled it one of the most high-profile exits of the championship, not because Charlie was expected to win, but because so many believed he was ready to contend. But something shifted in that second round. Tiger Woods didn't speak publicly about it. He didn't need to. Those close to the situation noticed the change. The silence wasn't disappointment anymore. It was understanding. Charlie hadn't folded. He hadn't withdrawn. He hadn't blamed the course, the pressure, or the expectations placed on him since birth. He showed up again. That's what left Tiger speechless, because Tiger knows better than anyone what golf demands before it gives anything back. He knows greatness isn't built on highlight clips or junior trophies. It's forged in moments like this: public failure, private resolve, and the decision to walk back into the fire instead of away from it. Charlie Woods doesn't just play golf. He carries a surname that reshaped the sport. Every result is magnified, every stumble dissected. His performance at Trinity Forest wasn't judged like any other juniors. It became a referendum on his future. And that's an impossible burden for a 16-year-old. What the golf world saw wasn't a finished product. It was a teenager learning, in real time, what elite competition truly costs. The fearless, clutch version of Charlie that emerged in earlier tournaments didn't fully appear. Instead, fans saw something raw, uncomfortable, and deeply human. Great careers aren't defined by smooth ascents alone. They're shaped by how players respond when things fall apart. Charlie's week in Dallas was humbling, painful, and public, but it was also formative. He didn't quit. He didn't hide. He didn't disappear. He adjusted. He competed. He finished. That matters more than most people realize. Missing the cut by 12 shots stings, that there's no denying that. But gaining experience under this level of scrutiny, standing on the tee with Tiger Woods behind you and cameras everywhere, is something no junior ranking can measure. The dream didn't end at Trinity Forest. It ran headfirst into reality. And reality, in golf, is the greatest teacher of all. Charlie Woods walked off that course without headlines celebrating victory, without trophies or highlights, but he left with something else: an understanding of pressure, a lesson in resilience, and proof that he can stand back up when the world is watching him fall. That's what Tiger saw. That's why he stayed silent. Because some lessons aren't meant to be explained. They're meant to be endured. This chapter didn't end in triumph. It ended in growth. And for Charlie Woods, that may be the moment his real journey truly began. Woods made sure no one could ever say, "Just Tiger's kid" again. Coming into the tournament ranked 604th, Charlie wasn't even listed on the radar of most junior golf analysts. He wasn't the favorite. He wasn't the headline. He was just another name on the tee sheet. 3 days later, his name was the only one anyone was still talking about, because what he did in that tournament didn't whisper potential. It screamed proof. The numbers alone were staggering: a 15 under par total, including a closing round 66 that featured 8 birdies. But it wasn't the scorecard that stunned the golf world. It was who he beat and how he beat them. The field included 4 of the top 5 junior golfers in the country, including Miles Russell, the undisputed #1. Charlie didn't edge him out. He didn't survive the pressure. He crushed the field, finishing 3 strokes ahead in one of the most competitive junior events of the year. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't magic. It was a methodical dismantling. ESPN and Golf Digest quickly picked up the story, but even their headlines couldn't fully capture the shift. Because this wasn't just a breakout performance, it was a reintroduction. For the first time, fans, coaches, and even fellow players began to refer to him not as Tiger's son, but as a serious standalone title contender. And for the top juniors who had grown used to hearing the name Woods with nostalgia, it suddenly became a real-time threat. The legacy had returned, but this time it had its own swing, its own stride, its own story. There's a difference between playing well and playing with presence. Charlie had both. He didn't ride momentum, he created it. He didn't hope for mistakes, he forced them. Every hole was a statement. Every birdie was a message. He was no longer waiting for his name to be called, he was taking it. And as the dust settled at Streamsong, one thing was clear: Junior golf had a new reality, and his name was Charlie Woods. This wasn't the coach. This was the father. He didn't arrive with fanfare. There was no press conference, no entourage, just a man in a cart, sunglasses on, sitting quietly near the ropes at Balliniles Country Club. But make no mistake, when Tiger Woods showed up to the Florida Amateur Championship, the energy shifted. Fans whispered, cameras crept closer. But Tiger wasn't there for the spotlight. He was there for something more personal, for something even more powerful. He was there to watch his son stand alone, and he couldn't look away. Observers noted something unusual about Tiger's body language that weekend. He wasn't analyzing swings or making calls from a practice green. He wasn't scribbling notes or offering advice. He sat still, leaned forward slightly, elbows on his knees. Every shot Charlie took, Tiger followed, not with a coach's critical eye, but with a father's quiet reverence, because what he was seeing wasn't technical, it was transformational. According to Golf Monthly, Tiger's appearance was completely unexpected. He hadn't been seen publicly in weeks, still recovering from a torn Achilles that had kept him off the course. And yet, here he was, not limping down fairways, but showing up when it mattered most. His presence wasn't promotional, it was paternal. As Sportskeeda put it, Tiger watched with pride, awe, and emotion. And when the cameras caught that rare smile, you didn't see a champion. You saw a dad. Those who were close enough swore they saw him wipe his eyes. Maybe it was sweat, maybe it was sun, or maybe it was something else. When asked by a reporter after the round what he thought of Charlie's performance, Tiger kept it simple. Proud doesn't even begin to cover it. There were no long quotes, no public speeches. He let the moment speak for itself, and maybe that silence said more than